oddest one's out. So I wonder what his thoughts on tattoos are. I didn't pre-watch it. I don't know. I'm guessing he likes tattoos. Maybe he's gonna say I like tattoos, but they're just not for me. Maybe I don't know. Let's jump in and see though.
Here's a little social interaction life hack I've discovered. If you're meeting someone new and you want to get to know them better, and you see any semblance of a tattoo peeking out of their sleeve, compliment it. If that person doesn't want to talk about their tattoos,
what movie
say,
is that? That's a movie
thank
reference.
You. Anyway, this is my stop. But if they do want to talk about their tattoos, their face will light up, and then they'll do the rest of the talking. I realize that...
I have to stop. Again, I'm not going to stop the video as much as last time, but that's in some cases. Like me, like I have a tattoo. Like let's watch. I have a tattoo, right? Covers like half of my arm. I want more. I love tattoos, but someone asked me about this. Yeah, I'm open. I'm always going to talk about it. Whatever. They see this one and I disappear. I want the earth to swallow me. Pause. I want to crawl into a cave and just die. Live like Miyamoto Musashi. No pun intended. No, I mean, yeah. Don't ask me about this. Ask me about this or other ones that I'll get in the future. But yeah, that's not always the case though. That's the point I was trying to make. Anyways, back to the video.
By giving you this advice, now anytime I compliment someone else's tattoos, it will seem disingenuous, but it's not most of the time. Ooh. I love all of your tattoos.
Oh.
That's right, I'm talking to you. I love your tattoos, dude. Whether it's how you got the tattoo, the meaning behind the tattoo, or being a tattoo of something you like, every tattoo is a story. And most people love telling stories about themselves.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know anything about that, personally. I never understood why some people liked talking about their tattoos until I got one of my own. I want to make a whole video about tattoos when I didn't even have any? That's right. I'm a marked man, Mom. What are you going to do about it? Stop unconditionally loving me?
You probably got temporary tattoos.
Wait, what are you doing with that cheese grater? Okay, but in all seriousness...
Yeah, I remember this. Well, when I turned 18, like, my older siblings, they just went out and got their tattoos and whatever, and the family was like, you know, we come from a family that frowns upon tattoos, kind of, but then it was just like, whatever. Like, my aunt got tattoos now and stuff like that, so they were more open to it. But when I turned 18, when I was 17, I was like, I'm gonna get a tattoo. I want a tattoo. I'm gonna get it. Like, me, when it comes to me, right? I think about something, and if I forget that thing or stop thinking about it, then it's not worth it. But if I think about it and then it appears again and I keep constantly thinking about it, then that's a sign for me to do it. So yeah, tattoo was definitely one of those things. So I was 17. I was like, I'm get a tattoo. And actually, I want a full sleeve. Like, I already had it all planned out and stuff like that. But just to prove a point, just for my pride, right? I told my mom when I turned 18, I was like, Mom, I'm telling you out of respect for you, the other family members just spontaneous. I mean, they went out and got it out of impulse, and they didn't have the decency or the respect to let you know, even though they're, you know, above age, whatever. But I was like, Ma, I'm just letting you know, whether you like it or not, I'm gonna do it. Okay, I'm just, you know, at least I'm letting you know, right? I'm not doing it behind your back. So she was like, all right, cool. So I got my tattoo, this one. My grandfather, he didn't grab a cheese grater like that. But he did grab a sponge, like a Brillo pad. And he first of all, he tried to do this, and then he got some water and tried to rub it off. But then he grabbed a Brillo pad, but this is his sense of humor. This isn't actually trying to scrub it off. But yeah, maybe it's just like a universal reaction within families. But yeah, this is very relatable. I don't know about a cheese grater though.
Can you make sure Grandma doesn't see this video, Mom? I don't want to upset her on the way out. Back in the day, tattoos used to be a symbol of rebellion and meant you couldn't get a job. No regrets, baby!
I remember that.
I feel like tattoos are getting more and more accepted.
Yeah.
If not expected. I'll see a
unless in
guy
Japan, like maybe now, but Japan,
okay,
they
yeah,
frown
he
upon
was meant to
tattoos
look
because
like
of the
that. For me,
Yakuza.
the idea of being a badass tattooed guy with a sketch pad
But bro,
and a beanie and ripped jeans and a
when I was in high school, I used to
bracelet
just draw
always
on
seemed
myself.
cool to me.
I remember,
But like most people, when it came to tattoos, I had reservations. Ooh, this is gonna be on my body forever? What if I hate it? I had an idea once of getting these 5 Magic the Gathering symbols tattooed on my forearm. I even dotted them out in Sharpie once just to give them a test drive. But I ultimately decided not to get them.
I want to get like a
Sekiro
inspired tattoo. I think that would be cool. That's my favorite game of all time. I know Jacksepticeye has like a Bloodborne.
So now every morning I wake up with impending feelings of shame and remorse that I even decided to get this thing. And I didn't want that to happen, even though I've been playing Magic for over 15 years, and it means a lot to me, and I'm going to be buried with my sliver deck, and... Alright, maybe I should just get it. Even though people know that tattoos are permanent, there are still way more bad tattoos than there should be. One time I saw this picture of someone's tattoo on a bad tattoo subreddit, and I thought it'd be funny to prank my family group chat by photoshopping that tattoo onto my arm. And then I thought it'd be funny to post that picture onto Instagram.
What does it even say?
This poor excuse of a Photoshop job, but then the internet and my family proved me wrong. Immediately, I started getting phone calls from my parents and even my book agent.
Should I pull that prank?
Did you actually get that tattoo? No, it's not a real tattoo. I mean,
I kind of want to do it now.
But it's on someone else's body. That's their cross to bear. I can only imagine what that person's family and book agent went through. My parents were not supportive of me. I definitely
advise to think it over.
Like my parents,
not once, not twice, not 3 times. Just
and getting tattoos
think it over
is
and
like putting graffiti on it. Which, sure, okay, that's why I paid a professional graffiti artist to paint my temple exactly how I wanted. Also, you can't tell me not to deform my body when that's exactly what you did before I was even 24 hours old.
Oh, damn. Off the hinges. Jesus, TheOdd1sOut, chill. But yeah, another thing I'm going to say is not only think it over, but even if you come to the conclusion where you do want a tattoo, also, why do I look so orange and red? Like, what happened to my camera? While I figure it out, let me just mention something. So yeah, let's say you do come to the conclusion where you do want a tattoo. Actually, let me see if I can fix this, because I'm looking way too orange for no reason. Better. I'm not saying it's the best, but it's okay. Let's say you do come to the conclusion that you do want a tattoo, right? You're like, I'm gonna get it. Okay, I have the money. I saved up for it. I have the design. One other thing you have to consider, or you don't have to, but I'm just saying, advising as someone with tattoos, one that I don't regret and one that I do. Take a look at the artist, right? Because it is permanent. Every tattoo artist, they do specialize in some art form, right? Maybe you want some anime. Maybe you want something realistic. Maybe, I don't know. It depends. But look at their portfolio. Always ask for their portfolio and make sure that they're the right artists for the type of tattoo that you want to get. Because a lot of the time, like this one, I don't regret it because I drew this myself and I brought it to him. Let me tell you about my experience, right? So when I turned 18, as I said before, I got this tattoo. I was like, I'm gonna get a tattoo, and I got this one. It says diabetic type 1. estimated August 2004, which was when I was diagnosed. And I know it's kind of weird. I think I briefly spoke about it in a previous stream, but I was like, you know what? It's not to commemorate that I got diabetes, whatever. But it has happened where I get sick from the diabetes. I go into something called DKA. I'm not really gonna go into any specifics, but I've gone to the hospital via ambulance, taken to the critical care unit, and I don't have my ID. I don't have my wallet. So I'm a John Doe. They don't know what they're treating for. They don't know I'm in the system or what they're treating me for until they find out. So this is just a tag. Like when I was a kid, they used to have, they probably still do, like medical bracelets and necklaces. Not my liking. Okay. I never liked it. But yeah, this is basically, if they find me, they know what to look for. But anyways, also, yeah, it's kind of like, this is part of my life story. This is a struggle, trials and tribulations, and this is just something that has to do with my life. So yeah, I got that. But anyways, I went to this tattoo artist, not too far from where I live. And yeah, I seen their portfolio. I was like, oh, cool, sick, nice, blah blah blah. But the tattooist, I was like, listen, this is a design I came up with. I drew it. How much is the tattoo gonna be? It's basically a consultation. And he was like, oh yeah, I'll charge you 200 for the tattoo, but then I'm charging you extra to redraw it because the lines aren't straight. I'll make it perfect, blah blah blah. So I was like, kind of bullshit, but fine, whatever. So the dude had an attitude, like he was just a dick. He was just a dick, which is something you also have to consider. Like, make sure, your tattoo artist is, I don't know. You don't have to talk to him. You don't have to be friends, whatever. But this guy was just like, it was a 6-hour tattoo. He's like, make sure you eat something before come. So I went when they opened, like at 8 o'clock in the morning. I did not eat anything, but I have a high pain tolerance. It was my first tattoo, whatever. So 6 hours, it took 6 hours to do. And that was nonstop. After like the fourth hour, I felt like a cat or a lion was like clawing at my skin. But I'm not a bitch, so I stuck it out. I was like, ooh, before you do the tattoo, I wanted a colorful tattoo. A lot of color. If you notice, not really, but there's only like 3 colors: black, red, and green. Not really how I envisioned it or wanted it. So in the middle, I'm noticing that he's just using those 3 colors. I was like, the colors. What happened to it? He's like, listen, I'll tell you word for word what he said. Right? Very vulgar and shit, but you know what? Whatever. But he was an asshole. The dude was like, listen, I'm the tattoo artist. I know what I'm doing. Like, if you're holding the head while I fuck it, basically. And I was like, whatever. I mean, it doesn't look bad in those colors, but I wanted, whatever. And I paid for it, But yeah, the customers, I guess, not always right when it comes down to it. I know there's some, like I've seen on shows where there's some customers that can be over the top and blah blah blah, or complain, or it's too painful. No, but it was just something, But that wasn't the only thing. Like, he was just like, I stayed quiet for the whole 6 hours after that. But he was just he was just a douchebag, honestly. So yeah, just be careful what tattoo you get. If you actually want it, think about it thoroughly. Also, do your research. Don't just like show up to any tattoo artist and be like, "Hey, yeah, I want a tattoo. Okay, I'll pay for it." Because a lot of the times it's easier. Tattoos could be costly, right? So I know that people are more inclined to get a tattoo from maybe an amateur just to save a ton of money, but it's worth quality and making sure that it's safe because it needs to be sterile. They need to know what they're doing, man. It can get infected if you don't take care of it correctly. If there's things are dirty, there's just way too much to consider apart from the design or if you want a tattoo or not. So yeah, that's my advice. But back to the video, and I'm not gonna pause again. We're just gonna
also,
watch.
Jesus had piercings, and he loved showing them off to his buddies, so I think he'd be chill with a little tattoo. After much thought and deliberation,
I guess you can put it that way.
On what my first tattoo would be. This was going to be permanently inked onto my body for the rest of my life. I got...
What did you get?
Tattoo in Courier New. Luckily, the artist was able to finish this in one session. It took quite a while, almost
you know
5
what?
whole minutes.
I've seen worse.
Now let me explain why I got it. It was so that if anyone ever asked me, "Do you have any tattoos?"
Shout out
go,
to Gabby
yes,
Williams.
And then
she's a basketball player, a professional basketball player. She got egg in French.
When I showed off my tattoo on Jaden's Streamathon, there was one comment that said, "James having tattoo actually tattooed onto him is exactly the kind of tattoo I expected James to have." And that made me feel really good because that meant the tattoo fit my vibe. And the second reason I got the tattoo was because I wanted to rebel. Since tattoos were frowned upon
rebel from what,
I wanted
though?
to have one.
It's not just to.
So I got a tattoo.
You can't just be a rebel. You got to be a rebel with a
Which,
cause.
in a way, is the meaning. Even though the tattoo was small and usually covered up by my sleeve, I still felt anxious about getting it. And I continued to feel that way for about a week after I got it.
It's not a big deal. A tattoo of the word tattoo instead of an actual tattoo. It's kind of a funny, corny joke. Like, hey, yeah, look, my tattoo literally is a tattoo of a tattoo, but it's not actually a tattoo. But yeah, that's the equivalent of me saying, "Oh yeah, I'm a tattoo a grape, so that when I get older in life, it turns into a raisin, 2 for 1." Ha ha ha! Very funny, but it's not that bad. It's not that bad. I've definitely seen worse. Also, Gabby, not saying that. How do you say egg in French? Isn't it oeuvre? Not saying that that's a bad tattoo, but maybe, I don't know. Maybe it was a dare. Anyways, back to the video.
It was a jump scare every time I saw it in the mirror, and I would look at it closely and go, "Yep, that's really in there. I sure hope I don't regret this."
Also,
but then
getting a tattoo,
the tattoo,
like tattoo care is the aftercare is something that's very crucial.
Go, "Yep, there's James and tattoo." I would go, "Yep, there's James. Full stop." And from that day on, I loved giving people advice on tattoos. As a marked man myself, I think you should absolutely get that Shadow the Hedgehog full back piece. YOLO, remember? What? You're worried that it's going to look bad when you're 70? Yeah.
Also, James, don't feel too bad, man.
You're 70.
You can cover it up. You wear clothes.
Don't think about how bad it's
you're not like
going to look. Think
character.
about how much you're going to enjoy it from now to when you're 69. I've known people my age who still hide their tattoos from their parents, but like the honest prodigal son that I am, I wasn't going to be doing that.
Come on, expose him. Expose him.
My parents,
expose him live on
house, and the very first thing my mom said to me was, "Do you have any tattoos?" She beat me to the punch.
Uh-oh.
What? Why
makes
would you
it
ask that?
awkward.
Because
that makes it totally
night,
awkward.
I had a dream that you came home and were covered in tattoos. So,
I don't know about what is it with moms that they like.
I said, "Are all tattoos bad?" "Yes, all of them are bad. Even this one." And I rolled up my sleeve and revealed my massive tat. And her reaction was,
yeah, I don't know what it is about mothers, yo. I don't know what type of inclination, like what type of tethering they have to you at birth, but like, I mean, not at birth because obviously the umbilical, whatever. But they just know out of nowhere, like how? I don't know. That's crazy. Also, I had a debate with my mom, right? And her husband was there, right? And as I said, I come from a family that usually frowns upon a couple things like weed or like other things like weapon like guns or just any like it I don't know. But tattoos, right? She was like, "Oh, once you get a tattoo, it's an addiction. You will never stop, blah blah blah." So that's where my ego or my pride came in, and I was like, "You know what? Usually I like to show people that they're wrong." Right? She's like, "Oh, you're gonna get addicted. You're gonna get full of tattoos, blah 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 blah." I was like, "You know what, Mom? I got this tattoo. I'm not gonna get any more just to prove you wrong. And then afterwards, I'll probably get more without you knowing." But her husband was like on her side. He's like, "Yeah, tattoos, blah 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 blah." Like, "Oh yeah, addiction." Da, 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 da. Years later, this guy that said that didn't want a fucking tattoo got a full ass fucking sleeve, right? When I got mine, my mom was opposed to it. She was like, "No tattoos, they're not for me. I don't like them on other people, like seeing." She did not say a word when her husband got a tattoo. Not one word, not one criticism whatsoever. And I was like, really? Really? I mean, yeah, also my little brother as well got like, I guess, amateur tattoos. So, again, what the difference is like quality for bang for buck, quality for the price. Sometimes it's pretty easy for someone to just overcharge you, but just do your research because you don't want no squiggly lines. You don't want like a jailhouse tattoo. You want it to look good because it's gonna be there forever. You don't want to have to then cover it up. You don't want to have laser removal. Make sure you're. But yeah, this was my mom when I got mine, and not when her husband got one. I'm you know what? Yeah, I'm salty. So what?
"Ah, well, it's not the worst word to have permanently inked on your body." Later on, she said, "If you go to a Star
Actually, that
Wars
wasn't
party, you could change it to Tatooine." So I think she took it
lol.
pretty goodly. Now, some of
She
you
did,
might be thinking that my epic sleeve of a
surprisingly.
tattoo isn't that big a deal. It's tiny and can only be seen if I'm swimming or boxing or wearing a tank top. But you see, after getting
During that fight, I didn't even
tattooed,
notice
I
it. I'm
experienced
be
what
honest with
people
you.
in the
It's not that bad.
tattooing business call catching the bug. After seeing how much I liked my
You
first
wanted more.
tattoo and knowing that I could handle having a tattoo, I was ready to get something badass. I set up a big boy tattoo appointment with
Why
the
do I
artist
why
I
do I feel
liked,
like he's
and when I
gonna
was in the
say?
tattoo shop, the artist asked, "Is this your first tattoo?" "Is this my first tattoo?" No.
I believe in the industry they call it a version. You're a version if you don't have a tattoo. So when I got mine, he's like, first of all, the guy was like, "Oh, you're no longer a tattoo version." Also, for your first tattoo, 6 hours, and you didn't complain not once. I thought you were gonna bitch out, and I was like, "Fuck you! You don't know me, bitch. Okay, I'm. What do I look like to you? All right."
Oh, sweetheart, I think I know a thing or two about tattoos. So, without further ado, I would like to debut this out of the blue tattoo.
That's badass. That is actually badass. I was
From the
expecting
Dark Crystal,
another
the Jim Henson 80s
cringe
puppet
ass
movie
tattoo,
that
but
I did a video on it years ago. Now I have the best character permanently inked onto my skin
That's
forever
actually
and
sick.
ever. That movie will always hold a special place in my heart.
Is it covering up the tattoo of the tattoo that's not a tattoo,
and now,
or is
whenever
it
I show someone the Chamberlain, we end up talking
a
about
different,
the Dark Crystal,
the different
which
arm?
is great because that's what I wanted to talk about anyways. I think I just discovered an autistic conversational cheat code. When I was getting it done,
it's in the other
artist
arm.
asked me if there were any other tattoos that I wanted to get, and I said, why, yes, I do. I wanted to get the computer from Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, because I also love that series, and because I'm a computery guy. And I didn't realize until as I was explaining it to the artist that both of these characters are puppets. So I don't know what that says about my psyche. I never thought that I liked puppets that much, but if anyone wants to psychoanalyze
Brother, you have a
me in the
tattoo
comments,
of a tattoo.
And speaking
that's
of YouTube
not a tattoo.
comments,
Who cares
I know
if it's a
lot
puppet
of
or
people
not?
are going to bring this up, so I'm just going to address it right now.
Shit looks epic.
You probably noticed that Chamberlain isn't holding his iconic triangle scepter. Yeah, I already know that. That's because he's holding the Emperor's scepter. It's like my own little headcanon. He got to be the Emperor because he's cool and awesome and come on, Dark Crystal fans. You think I don't know my lore? I didn't get the wrong scepter or anything. You think I'd get something wrong about the Dark Crystal? Okay,
very convincing.
I own a Chamberlain statue because, of course, I do, and I took pictures of it to send as a reference image to the artist.
And you
totally
forgot
that I accidentally broke off his triangle scepter, and now
damn.
because of that, he's holding an entirely different scepter on the tattoo. But you know what? I don't care. This one's better. It's a more clear silhouette. Now, this time when I went to show my parents the tattoo,
isn't that a
I don't know exactly
easy fix
what I was hoping
for,
but I wanted to see some dramatic pearl clutching. You know, just some real disappointment.
Nah,
it had to be split up
couldn't
into
even
two
care.
sessions, and I only got one done when I went to Arizona for a wedding. I saw my mom, and she didn't immediately ask me if I had any more tattoos. God didn't tattle on me this time. I told her, Mom, I gotta tell you something, privately. What is it? I need you to keep a secret from Grandma. Okay, I'm serious. Grandma can't find out about this. Okay. Look, it's Chamberlain. And I showed her the unfinished tattoo, and she went, oh, do you even like the Dark Crystal that much? I mean, yeah,
once you get your first tattoo, having like 20 of them,
about my fake Baby Yoda tattoo,
they might talk behind your back,
Dark
but
Crystal tattoo.
They don't really care.
And neither did my dad. And you know what? I actually showed my grandma too, and she liked it. I can't make these people mad no matter what I do. One of my cousins is a tattoo artist, and I was talking to him about tattoos, and my mom said,
I hope your cousin doesn't have a scorpion on his head like this, man.
Do not do that. Speaking of tattoo advice, if you're thinking about getting a tattoo,
all right, let's hear.
I think
this is very important.
Should wait. Obviously, it's your body, your choice, but with the minimum age of tattoos being 18 and in some states 16 with parents' permission,
16? Really?
Imagine being
what states?
Happy with any tattoos 16-year-old James could think of.
Actually, with
All
the
I'm
parental
saying
permission,
is that I'm
yeah,
glad I
probably
waited
at
and
16.
Gave myself time to really know if this is what I wanted. And it was. I know you're young and you want to look as hardcore
Yeah, exactly
as
what I
possible,
said.
But
Also, if you would have
still
taken
get a
more time,
tattoo
James,
when
you
you're
probably
like
would have
23
noticed
and
that
it'll
this
look good. Trust me.
scepter was
No
missing.
matter what tattoo you get, it's a way to express outwardly to the world what you like, what you want to remember, and who you are.
Yep.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm about to get a full back piece of my grandma's face. There's literally no way my family wouldn't love that. Thank you all for watching this YouTube video. And now that you're all done, I'm excited to announce that I have a Funko Pop of me. If that's something you're interested in, then you can head on over to my website and get a signed Funko while supply.
That's how you know you made it, when you got a Funko Pop, dude. Like, I love Funko Pops, but even though they're like $9 a pop, maybe some are more expensive, but I love Funkos. But yeah, that's crazy. Like, usually you hear of YouTubers getting like U2s and stuff like that. But yeah, Funko Pop, pretty crazy. Yeah, I enjoyed that video, and I pretty much agree with everything he said, given that I gave the same advice before he did. But yeah, I don't know. My mom said, I don't want you to ever commemorate me with my name or me on your skin ever. Like, I'm not gonna appreciate it whatsoever. Like, no, don't do that. And I was like, oh, okay, well, your loss, I guess. Cool.